In this episode, I start on my sail towards San Andreas from Panama. I'm going on a quick visit to my friends over there.
It's Piracy!
I'm also sharing my craziest experience in Panama ever. Not sure if it's because Panama hate Colombia or I only have seen the true corruptions of Panama. But this should be a good reason to consider using an agent, even though finding an honest person in Cologne is a challenge to begin with. When I was in a bit rush to set sail from Martinique to Panama, it was the fact hurricane season had started. I was not very keen on reputation on last year, and also not wanting to be chased by a hurricane on my 1,300 nautical miles non-stop sailing west in the Caribbean. The last years you could almost adjust your clock after the hurricanes, as it's been pretty accurate when the first ones arrives, and normally pretty far south as well. And also this season, not many days after I was safely docked in Panama, there was a hurricane warning going exceptionally low, and even something that's very rare, a hurricane warning south of 10 degrees north, touching the San Blas region. Luckily it only stayed as a storm system, but even more abnormal, it crossed over the continent and continued as a hurricane in the Pacific. I never heard about this before. With insurance not covering hurricanes, you could believe that being in a marina south of 10 degrees north is safe. But new of the year is that insurance does not cover lightning strikes during rain season south of 10 degrees north. So it's definitely not always easy being a sailor, sometimes being forced to make difficult decisions, rain season or hurricane season. And being here in the rain season is definitely scary. During my stay here, an average of 4 boats a week has been taking a direct hit from lightning, destroying rigging and all the electronics on board. What is the opposite of be free? That must be curfew, and that's the name of the white yacht in front of me. Okay, so now we try to replace the halyard that snapped when my code 1 ended in the water. And I have a neighbor helping me out here. What are we doing?
Fine.
It's not that difficult, but sometimes a little bit challenged anyway. We have a hole up there that we have to get the line out of again, but we have a little trick in our sleeves and I'm gonna explain. It's many ways to do this, but I have a thin guiding thread which I add lots of nuts at the end to add some weight. If you have iron nuts, you can even use a magnet, making it easier to get it out again. But first I need to go aloft to drop down my guiding thread from above and to inspect the fittings as well. And always look up at the clouds before you go aloft here, as it's the last place you want to be even if only a squall passes. Even those fast moving small systems often surprise you with some lightning. Since I could not find my magnet tool, I just made a tiny hook with a cable to grab the guiding thread inside. Once this is done, I stitched and taped it to the halyard, and the rest was done in 5 minutes. And when this job was done, I rinsed the cold one to clean it from any salt leftovers and let it air dry while inspected for any damages from the incident I had. My sail looks pretty okay, so I have been lucky. However, now as I got my sewing machine on board, it's also possible for me to stitch my sails if needed. And here in Panama it's not long time between rain showers, and a leaking bimini is not optimal either. So a quick fix to extend the life a little bit, and also as a practice to learn things before I start on a project, making everything new myself later. So the sound you hear is I'm actually running the generator because the shore power has been out for 3 days now. So I'm really happy to have my generator up and running again, and as you can see, it's just like rain and gray, not many hours of sunshine here during the day. So being in Panama without a generator, that can be a challenge. Even though I'm moored like 2 meters from the nearest Wi-Fi antenna, it doesn't help much as it's very unreliable, especially in the rain season with frequent lightning strikes. Also, from my point of view, it's a bit expensive with $5 a day for Wi-Fi. Given the fact you can get a faster net buying a SIM card here in Cuatro Altos. Not only much better, but unlimited data with hotspot only costing $7 a week. And as much as I hate to advertise for Digicel, it's also the best solution in the beautiful San Blas region. The grocery store in Cuatro Altos have been refurbished and looks a lot better than last time I was here, now with quite impressive selection. However, even here you can notice the increased prices on food and beverage in general, like the rest of the world at the moment. So I'm not stocking up more than I need as I have other plans. What a day! I mean, this is just a joke. It's just unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. So, to give you an idea, please let me take you through only a small part of this. I have spent 3 days and $480 to be able to clear out of here, which is insane and normally should be around $180. Oh, I'm in a taxi. Where are we going?
Okay, right now we are going into Colon City to what we call the Autoridad Maritima. That is in charge of who make the cruising permits and all the documentation for sales boat to come and go forth in Panama waters.
In Panama, they demand a cruising permit that costs $180, even if you're only gonna transit the canal. But still, I cannot wait 3 weeks for the cruising permit I don't need. So that's what we are on our way to sort out as this first obstacle. I only need a confirmation of paid cruising permit. Even though it's valid for 12 months, it terminates once I sail out.
Helpful, sweetest taxi driver ever is helping.
Okay, you want to leave tomorrow?
I hope to leave tomorrow, yes. If it's not thunderstorm like today, then I don't want to go sailing.
Tomorrow is the 9th, el día 9 del mes.
Rushing back to Shelter Bay to the port captain that now also want extra money for making a SARPE. They could done this at the office we just left, then going straight to the immigration in Colon and have the stamp in my passport, and I could been out of here. But because it's still opening hours at Shelter Bay office, they refuse to do this as it takes the business away from the port captain and immigration in Shelter Bay. Next morning I had to take the bus back into Colon again with Mr. Ranger from Shelter Bay Marina. Now the only thing I need can be done in Colon, so with a free bus ride this should be straightforward. Or is it?
Okay, yes, I'll leave you close to the office at immigration so that you can get all your paperwork done with. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
The friendly and always so helpful Mr. Ranger dropped me off at the terminal where the cruise ship arrives. Here everything could have been done yesterday or even the day before, but not as long as it's weekdays and you stay in Shelter Bay Marina. They just love to delay and waste other people's time and money.
So I'm at the immigration and my SARPE had a wrong date, so I cannot clear out. And I still have to wait now for redoing my SARPE because of the mistake done in Shelter Bay Marina. So this is now the 3rd day I'm trying to clear out.
The problem is that it was a wrong date and it's the 10th and today it's the 9th and tomorrow is the 10th. But this is how it works in Panama and especially in Colon district. The port captain from Shelter Bay now wanted $50 to change the date, which I still don't understand the meaning of as I'm not leaving today either, so the date would been correct anyway. And today I waited 6 hours for the same port captain here at this office. So now the immigration also wanted overtime money, $20 each. Reasons for showing you this is that using an agent here might be a much better solution. It's better to have a fixed price and avoid all these small time hustlers. But then again, this is just how it is here in Gangster's Paradise. After all, Cologne is famous and it's not in a positive way. And as a fun fact, the risk of being shot in a crossfire between the 9 different gangs here is higher than being robbed. And the piracy that was a frequent problem around here has come down a bit. The only pirates I have encountered so far is working for the government. I'm exhausted. Finally I managed to get my SwT, which is needed to exit this country. So why do I have my SwT and clear out of here? It's not because I'm going through the canal yet, because then I would not be in SwT Bay. I'm actually sailing a quick tour to San Andreas to visit my friend Rick Moore and Maddie and their new baby.
Nice piracy! Captain Rick have overtaken B3.
Arr, matey, we seized the yacht. Surrender your women.
And in San Andreas it's a little bit easier. There is an agent that I've been chatting with online, and Rick Moore obviously knows this guy from before, so he's a nice person. And my paperwork in San Andreas is already done. So tomorrow morning I can set sail on this 220 nautical mile sail to San Andreas.
I'm a bit tired, but I have my coffee. So it's now 6 o'clock in the morning. It was around 5 I was up, but there is a front system just outside of here. And leaving Panama, you want to do it in the morning to have as big distance to shore as possible before the thunderstorm starts. And now there is a system that's containing some thunderstorms, so I'm just waiting it out. So I guess in 30 minutes, an hour, I will be able to go through that window. And then it's coming another system, so I have to step on it a little bit, so I reach out 20-30 nautical miles out, then it will be okay.
And it did not take long to see the results of my predictions. 30 minutes later it was lots of lightning, and I'm happy I waited this one out. If you have watched previous episodes sailing in these waters, you probably remember me talking about clouds consolidating. And from my experience, that's the ones to look out for. I managed to screenshot some examples for you to see this expression in a better context and also how fast it goes. Finally, I'm on my way, and I will have some rain and light winds in the beginning of this sail. But this is the window I have to avoid the worst electrostorms that's on its way. Another really good reason for having daylight the first 50 nautical miles is big logs floating around after the storm that passed here a few days ago. That's now as far south as Cologne due to the strong currents. Even though sailing from Panama to San Andreas is a short sail, only being about 220 nautical miles, I expect at least 100 of these miles to be a nightmare with electrostorms and lightnings that scares the shit out of me. So I monitor satellite images as well as wind and rain predictions. And to me this looks perfect, hoping to benefit from the wind if I'm sailing a bit north first part. Then the last 100 miles or so should go pretty fast. As tomorrow I expect at least 25 to 28 knots of wind pointing towards San Andreas. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. If you haven't already, I will be happy to see you subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification bell not to miss the next episode. All the best and cheers from me to you.